Okay, so The Rising of the Shield Hero. It's a series that I've been keeping up with in the form of its original source for quite some time before the anime adaptation managed to hit our side of the world, or anywhere for that matter. So, in a way, I was kind of excited, but I was also kind of scared because whenever something I like gets adapted or, gets out there in a very public way, I'm afraid of like the general reception it will get or what people will think of it, really in a very irrational way, which is why I held off on watching the first episode for a while and may have held off on watching it until maybe a few episodes came out and then I could rush it. But as with all things in this world, you can never fucking predict how the introduction of something new will affect the perception of the general public. And with Shield Hero, that's no exception. People seemingly have lost their fucking minds ever since Goblin Slayer. I'm sure Goblin Slayer isn't the only anime that has ever, attracted a large amount of controversy, but that was the first big major one, the first shitstorm, so to speak, where I can understand if you don't agree with what is being presented in front of you or you don't like watching it, but to throw this much of a hissy fit over something that was created for your own enjoyment, something that you probably didn't pay for if you're not signed up to a subscription service like Crunchyroll, is a little absurd. So what happened for the uninitiated, for the few people who somehow managed not to hear anything about this? Well, in The Rising of the Shield Hero, early on, the main character Naofumi is betrayed and falsely accused of raping someone, and through that, his entire reputation is destroyed. Everybody in the kingdom now fucking hates him. He has no money because the same person stole all of his shit. Now, this person happened to be a woman, which seems to be the center of some people's discomfort with this show, is that their own preconceived notions in the real world and their own moral sensibilities just kind of clash with everything. And so they're taking to the internet to tell everybody, don't watch this show, avoid it, don't do anything. And hilariously enough, it's having the opposite effect, where everybody is now far more informed about this show and what it did. Some people are even reveling in the fact that it's edgy and off the wall and it's, challenging the moral norm, so to speak. For me, there's a much bigger connotation or bigger idea here that I kind of want to talk about, and that's the whole notion that I've been seeing recently, or rather the entitlement from some people who watch these shows. It seems in the year 2018 and 2019, it is now inappropriate for a creator or a writer or whatever to write stories with the content that they want to show or they want to present. It seems like people, when they're confronted with something that is uncomfortable for them, get really angry and throw massive tantrums. And it's actually It's really fucking ridiculous, if you ask me. That is the real fucking issue I find in this situation. Not whether or not you think it was, morally correct or not. It's the reaction. It's the moral outrage over seeing something that isn't to your particular palate. Which again, to me, is incredibly fucking entitled. Like, this world doesn't just belong to a few select people. It belongs to all of us. So it is our job to try to live peacefully with one another and try to, come to an understanding and look at the world through many different lenses. Trying to shut down any differences in worldview or thought or, just any scenarios that even allude to that is fucking ridiculous and borders on totalitarian in some sense. Creatives and artists should be allowed to express themselves in whatever way they wish to express themselves, within the boundaries of the law, of course, right? We can't have, psychopaths-esque, people making sculptures out of dead bodies. We can't have that, but yeah, you get the point. So with all this, you probably want to know my thoughts on the first episode. And in my opinion, it was a pretty alright first episode. It was very straightforward, very standard. It didn't really do anything that amazing. It just kind of retold the events of the first part of the story. The areas where I think it could improve is by doing more interesting things with the direction of the show, and more showing and less telling, taking advantage of the medium of animation. Stop leaning so much on the source material to carry everything. Present information in interesting ways. Get what I'm saying? Though I don't want to really go into the nitty gritty of things. If you want to know, just watch the damn episode. Just go out there, sit down, grab some popcorn, if that is what you will, and just watch the episode. Well, anyway, that's all I've got to say. Thank you for listening if you bothered to listen to this video. This is peak low effort content for Jade right here. No editing whatsoever. Or barely any. And with that, I'll see you next time.